How long do you stick to your New Year's resolutions? I recently read a statistic that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February. Are you a part of that statistic? I know I am. I quit making New Year's resolutions like 7 or 8 years ago when I realized they just don't work. Like the other people in that 80% statistic, I only stuck to my resolutions for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And it's also really boring when every year your New Year's resolution is to lose weight. A few years ago, I made it a goal to start incorporating healthier habits rather than just trying to go cold turkey on quitting something or making a New Year's resolution. Instead, I just try to allow the healthier habits to replace the bad habits. I think most people try to give up something that they like, or like I mentioned, quitting cold turkey on something, or they try to go really hard into a crazy 5 a.m. routine or something that's not even close to their comfort zone. It's just really extreme. And I think that's why most New Year's resolutions fail. We just try to go too hard, too fast. My approach for creating better habits for the new year is more of this, less of that. As I've said in vlogs before, I love Taco Bell, and I'm not giving it up. So if I tried to make a resolution that was no fast food or 100% whole food, plant-based, cook your meals at home, I'm gonna fail. For myself, and I think a lot of other people can relate, if I tell myself I can't have something, it just makes me want it more. It's like that forbidden fruit or whatever. Right now as I'm filming this, it is December 30th. And I can't remember the last time I had Taco Bell. I think it was mid-November. So I've gone 6 weeks without Taco Bell, no problem. Because it's a half mile down the road, I can go get it whenever I want. But if I told myself I'm not allowed to have Taco Bell anymore, I would think of nothing else until I'm in that drive-thru getting a 7-layer, no sour, no cheese, extra guac, add some cinnamon twists, what the hell. I'm not suggesting a moderation approach to everything because I do believe there are things you should quit cold turkey that you don't need in your life, but that's your decision to make. Personally, when I went vegetarian, I just gave up meat and it was easy and I didn't crave it and I didn't care. But then when I went vegan and I had to give up dairy, that was a lot more difficult for me, and I gave myself the more this, less that kind of approach. I immediately went vegan at home, but allowed myself to still have dairy when I was out to eat and stuff. If I couldn't find a vegan option, I didn't want to beat myself up over that. And I also learned to carry vegan ranch in my purse, and then I could pretty much eat anywhere. So in 2020, I have decided on 5 things I want to work on with a more this, less that kind of approach. My first goal is more water, less Diet Coke and coffee. I'm really good about starting every morning with a big glass of lemon water, and I'm usually pretty good about drinking water with my meals. But when I have something sitting next to me to sip on throughout the day, it's usually coffee until I eat lunch, and then after lunch, it's usually Diet Coke until I go to bed. I know Diet Coke is not good for me. And I know I drink too much coffee because some mornings I get a stomach ache from it. And I know I depend on caffeine too much because I get caffeine headaches when I don't have it. A few years ago, I switched to caffeine-free Diet Coke and decaf coffee for most of the day. So I was trying to only have 2 caffeinated cups of coffee in the morning, and that was it. But then after I opened my yoga studio and was still working my full-time job, and then a year later when I started developing my online business, I needed the caffeine, or I thought I needed the caffeine. Looking back, I probably needed more sleep. And besides the caffeine, I like the taste of Diet Coke and I like the taste of coffee. The taste of coffee with French vanilla creamer, I should clarify, because I don't like black coffee. I love the smell of coffee, but I don't like the taste of black coffee. I did get off the artificial sweeteners, like adding stevia to my coffee, over 5 years ago. It's been a long time since I've been into those, but I still get all those artificial sweeteners in my Diet Coke, so obviously I'm not trying to go cold turkey with the caffeine because I get massive caffeine headaches and I'm not torturing myself like that. Instead, I'm going to work on a technique which I actually read somewhere that had to do with cutting back your alcohol, but the theory is this. So I always start with a big glass of lemon water in the morning, and then I switch to coffee. The theory here is I'll have a cup of coffee, but then I have to have another big glass of water. And then I can have another coffee, but then I have to have another glass of water. And then the same thing with my Diet Coke in the afternoon. I can have my Diet Coke in the afternoon, but then I need to have a cup of water. I don't get to go to Diet Coke number 2. I figure this should help cut my consumption of coffee and Diet Coke at least in half. I think I'll feel a lot healthier drinking more water, and I think that'll also help make the transition, which is what I find with a lot of these habit things, is once you start changing and feeling better, it just becomes so much easier. My second thing is to eat a more whole food, plant-based diet and less vegan junk food. I'm doing a vlog series called I'm Done Dieting, and every 6 weeks or so I'm going to do a video update on that. So I'll link the first video here, or is it here, wherever, in the description too. And in that video I talk about how I know the vegan junk food it's junk food. Just because it doesn't have any animal products in it, it's still like high in calories and highly processed, and it might have a lot of added sugar or salt, you know. Ben & Jerry's non-dairy is amazing, but it's still like a ton of calories and added sugar and all that crap. I know how to make a bitchin' batch of nice cream. If you don't know, nice cream is simply frozen bananas, and then you can flavor that up all kinds of different ways. Fruity, chocolate, peanut butter, like, mwah. I've gotten to be a decent cook over the last 3 years being vegan, and I have a dozen cookbooks to go to, so like there's no reason for me to be eating so much fake vegan junk food. The third habit I want to develop for 2020 is more peaceful nighttime activities, less Candy Crush. I fall asleep almost every night on the couch, watching TV and or playing Candy Crush. And I know that's not healthy for like my brain, and even just like getting good deep sleep while having the TV noise going in the background all night, and like falling asleep on the couch, waking up with a crink in my neck. I used to be really good about reading every night before bed, and I don't know what happened. So I need to get back into that night routine of making a cup of tea and reading my book, as opposed to sitting on my couch, crushing the candy. And I discovered Audible has a sleep timer in their app. Sometimes I need noise to fall asleep, so listening to a book is a lot better for me than leaving the TV on. So my fourth habit I want to develop really applies to all areas of my life, and that's having more time for creativity and less screen time. I already mentioned like the nights and the mornings when it's an issue, but I mean, it's just an issue kind of all day long. It's so easy to get distracted. Like, how many times a day do I pick up my phone to look at the weather, even to check the time, and then I like get sucked into an hour-long rabbit hole of social media. And it's not all bad. I read a lot of good articles and things on social media, but I know I spend way too much time scrolling. I think we all do. Social media is addictive, and they design it that way to keep us scrolling. And I love social media in a way. Like, I love YouTube and Snapchat. For me, it's the Facebook and the Instagram scrolling that like really get me sucked in. YouTube videos I can always add to my watch later list, so I don't ever like feel like I have to keep binging on YouTube videos. And I've got like 20 friends on Snapchat, so it literally will take me like 2 minutes to watch everybody's stories there. I think something I need to do for 2020 is just flat out schedule that creative brainstorming time into my calendar. I think what I need is like separate time for creative brainstorming, and then other time for the actual content planning and the research portion of that, so that my creative time doesn't get infected with like research on the internet. So that's that plan. And the fifth habit I want to develop in 2020 is probably going to be the hardest, and that's more confidence and less apologizing. I struggle with confidence and imposter syndrome. I think a lot of us do, especially anybody who's putting themselves out on the internet. Sometimes I feel like I apologize just for being me, and I don't have the confidence to just be me. I struggle to put to words exactly what I mean by this, but like when the thought popped in my head, I was like, yes, that's it. It's about being confident enough to be myself and not apologizing for that. I think part of this is also feeling guilty for like putting myself first, saying no to things like that I don't want to do. I just need to be more confident in my decisions and myself and stop questioning myself so much and like searching for other people's approval or needing other people's opinions to make a decision. I think being confident can be really difficult, especially in the online world where we can compare ourselves to like billions of people. So, more confidence, less apologizing. Well, I think that's all I have to say about my more of this, less of that habits I'm taking into 2020. So what's your plans for the new year? Are you making a New Year's resolution, or are you just trying to develop some healthier habits? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you're doing for 2020. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel and watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next vlog.